Good evening, otherworldlies. This is Juliana Angel, your Dark Mask Diva. How's everyone doing tonight? All right. So, I'm getting a lot of questions about ladies asking their boyfriend is accusing them of cheating, and they're not. So, your boyfriend's accusing you of cheating. He has no reason to think that. You're wondering, why is he doing that? Alright, so, okay, well, everyone who watches me knows what I'm going to say, right? Right? I'm going to say your boyfriend's a bozo, right? Okay. So, let's get that out of the way. I'm going to say your boyfriend's a bozo because he's accusing you of cheating and you're not doing anything. Okay. So, here's a few underlying things why he thinks you're cheating and you're not doing it. One... excuse me, he's doing something. He's thinking of cheating on you, so he's projecting that type of guilt. Okay. Here's another thing. He's using methamphetamines. Okay. That creates a type of psychosis where you believe that person is cheating. Okay, that's happened to me where I was with someone and they were using methamphetamines and thought I was cheating on them. Okay, was swear up and down I was cheating. I wasn't. Okay. Here's another thing. I'm going to take this into a direction that go completely down the rabbit hole. Okay, here's something I haven't done before, and I'm going to tell you guys something about men. Okay, here's something you might not understand about men. And here's something we never think about. Now, the thing is when we look at our boyfriends, we see them in a different way than they see themselves, okay? Like, we look at them and we think like, oh, like they're cute and the stuff they do is cute and quirky, and we see themselves in a certain type of way. Now, the thing we don't understand about men, and they don't like to let us see that side of them, and they don't come out and say it, but what you don't realize, and this is like, I'm going to say something really like scary, but a lot of men just really hate themselves. I'm going to say this again. A lot of men just secretly really just hate themselves. And I don't know what this is, but at the core of a lot of men, they really just have low self-esteem. And I don't know where this comes from, but a lot of men just suffer from low self-worth. And a lot of it just comes from men grow up roasting each other, like trying to make each other feel less than, like, you're less strong than me, you're this, you're that, and they all call each other ugly, and they all do this and all do that. And the thing about men, they're all trying to compete with each other. Men are just naturally competitive, so the competitive nature, of them all, they're at each other's throats constantly, and they're trying to just give each other a hard time all the time. They're always at each other's throats, and they're always just like picking at each other constantly. So the ones that are the least aggressive are going to feel the worst. Okay, so there's always that like hierarchy of them all just roasting each other all the time, always giving each other a hard time, and the ones that just are the least aggressive are just going to feel probably the worst, okay? And the thing is, the way they're going to take it out on you is they're going to feel that they're going to project it on you. They're going to think that you are going to pass them over and choose more of a dominant male. You're going to cheat on them with a more dominant male. So what's going to happen is they're going to imagine that your attentions have gone to a more dominant male because they feel bad about themselves. See, what they do is they look, okay, we all feel bad about ourselves. As ladies, we are, competitive and comparative, in nature. Okay, like, as pretty as we are, we always see like our sister or a best friend or just some other girl that we see, and we're like, if we have blonde hair, we want dark hair. Or we have straight hair, we wish we had curly hair. Or we have like fair skin, we wish we had darker skin. Or you know what I'm talking about? If we're, full figured, we wish we were thin. It's like we all are just kind of jealous of, what another girl has. We think like what another girl has is prettier than what we have, or we wish we had more of what another girl has. Like I was always kind of small for my age. I wish I was taller. I always wished I had like darker eyelashes and eyebrows. You know what I mean? So it's like I always wished I had something else. I always like admired something that another girl had. And then other girls were like, wow, that's so cool, you have blonde hair. Because blonde hair is something unusual where I come from. I didn't see a lot of people that looked like me. So they were like, other girls were always trying to touch my hair. And I'm thinking, my hair is not fun, it's tangly. Natural blonde hair is baby fine, and it is not fun. It's fun now that I'm a grown-up because I can put all kinds of pink stuff and do all kinds of stuff with it and that sort of thing. And I can put like blue mascara in my eyelashes and it makes them pop and stuff like that. That's fun, but it wasn't fun when I was growing up. And it's not really fun having fair skin. I'm going to tell you that right now because I can't go in the sun very long without feeling kind of icky. But it's, it was not fun being this fair when I was a child. But people are like, you look like a little angel, and they'd made a big deal. That's my nickname, right? But they'd make a big deal out of it because I'm unusual looking. But it was not fun being different when I was a child. But I remember people saying, wow, I wish I had what you had. I'm like, no, you don't. I wish I had like dark eyelashes and eyebrows and more melanin. I want to play outside more. I wish, I was taller. I would like to, have more advantage on the basketball court. I wish I could do this. I wish I could do that. I wish I had these other things going on. And so everybody just kind of wished that they had something else going. So everyone was just kind of jealous of everyone. And, I see things that other women have, and I consider those things beautiful. And they see what I have, and they consider that beautiful. So we all were kind of envious of each other. But see, guys are the same way. Guys look at themselves in the mirror. And the thing is guys look, unless the guy is gay or something, right? Because some guys are gay. And the guys look at women and go, gosh, women are so beautiful. And they look at themselves and go, ugh, us guys are so ugly. Look at how ugly we are. We're guys, And, the guys are straight and they're like, and they think about gay guys and go, how can a guy look at another guy and get turned on by that? Like, because my straight guy friends are like, how can guys find other guys attractive? I don't understand these gay guys. I go, well, dude, because you're not gay, okay? Because you like girls. They're like, yeah, I like girls. Like, how can gay guys like other guys? I'm like, I don't know. You can't understand someone else, They're like, well, I understand why girls like each other, because you're all so pretty and stuff like that. But I don't understand how guys can find another guy attractive because we guys are so freaking ugly, And I'm thinking, I just kind of realized something, that guys like look at themselves in the mirror and just go, ugh. Because I have all these like friends who are guys and they just think they're so ugly. They're like, we guys are ugly. We just look in the mirror and we grow like hair on our face and we're just like all nasty and we're awkward and we're big and we're clumsy and you girls are so pretty and all this stuff and guys are so nice to look at. And I'm thinking, even if we're not, like, I can get on camera and I can put on some red lipstick so I don't look so, my paleness isn't so, washed out in the light, when I turn that ring light on, it looks nice, to have like a pop of color or something like that, and, I can put pink in my hair, or I could just do something to really, just enjoy my appearance and stuff like that. Guys can't really, unless that's just like who you are or something, guys can't do things to really enhance their looks the way we ladies can. Like, we can grow our hair long and do all these things and wear like, big hoop earrings and do things to like feel pretty and stuff like that. Guys can't do as much stuff to like feel pretty and have it be like socially acceptable. You know what I mean? Like, as much. I mean, yeah, a lot of guys do have a lot of swag and a lot of style. Like my Sensational is really good at that stuff, but like not every guy is like super good at that stuff. But guys, basically, let me tell you, I really just think that they look in the mirror and they're just like, God, I'm so ugly. I really think guys just really don't like themselves. Really, seriously. And speaking as somebody who's known, somebody who used to have, myself, I used to have, a drug addiction. I've known a lot of people who've had drug addictions. And I'm talking about people who've had street drug addictions. And those drug addictions are different than the kind that I've had. And people with street drug addictions have a certain type of mentality. All right, when you're high, you feel a different way than when you're coming down off your high, and you're having to face yourself in the mirror and you're having to look at yourself. You're seeing yourself in a totally different way. I'm talking about people who do street drugs, and they're looking in the mirror and they're hating themselves. Okay, so when you're a guy and you're coming down off that street drug and you're looking in the mirror and you're having to see yourself, and after being high and feeling that euphoria of being high, and then you're coming down, you're feeling worse because you're coming down off that drug, and you're looking and you're seeing yourself and you're feeling so ugly. You're having to face that horrible feeling you felt before, and now you're feeling even worse than you felt before. And now you look terrible and freaking busted because all you've been doing is using drugs, and it's making you look really bad. So these men are just looking in the mirror and they're seeing their skin just like all busted and tore back from using all these drugs, right? So they really are starting to actually look ugly because they're using drugs, right? And they're just looking at themselves like, ugh, And honestly, a lot of men really do hate themselves. Not just the drug addicts, just some men just, their self-esteem's taken a beating. They've just been, they're tired of people giving them a hard time, or they're just like, they're clinically depressed. A lot of men today are depressed. And it's not their fault. They're just depressed. I mean, it's, they're not getting enough sunlight. They're not getting enough of the right foods to eat. There's too many additives in the food. Or it's just something they were born with. There's like a chemical imbalance they were born with. Or, they're in a job that they hate. Or something like that. So they're looking in the mirror and their eyes are playing jokes on them. Like, they might be a cute guy, but they're looking in the mirror and they think they look ugly. Just like we ladies, like some of us are pretty and we're looking in the mirror and we think we look ugly. Have you ever seen like a pretty girl who thinks she's ugly and you're just like, you've got to be kidding me. You think you're ugly and you just want to be like, and she's pretty and you're just like, shut up. And you're mad because everyone thinks she's pretty and she thinks she's ugly and she thinks she's fat. And everyone's sitting there like looking like a total cow, and she's like all skinny and she's like, I'm so fat. And you're just like, shut up. But she actually thinks she is, because she has like some kind of body dysmorphia. But you're mad at her, but it's like her mind is playing tricks on her. It's really sad. But some people's minds are playing tricks because they're so depressed and their minds are so psyched out that they see something bad in the mirror when there's actually something good. Well, some men are like that. Some men actually freaking hate themselves. For whatever reason. Okay? Now, we're going to go into kind of like more bozo territory now. But I'm really going to try to be funny here, but at the same time, this is actually a real problem. I'm going to try to be funny, but here's basically, men really just psych themselves out, and they really just get in their own way. But men are, they have this internal dialogue going. And, they are crazy, okay? They are crazy, but in the back of their mind, they're thinking that they're going to be replaced by some dude that's better than them. Okay, they think that your ex is hanging around. They think that he's better. They think his dick's bigger. They think you're hooking back up with him. They think there's some guy at work. They think everything. They think there's some guy at school. They think something's going on. They think every time you don't answer the phone, you're with some other dude. And they think this because they hate themselves and they're insecure. You're not doing anything but living your life. But this is this controlling guy, okay? This is like that guy I was talking about earlier that kept trying to tell me what to do. I'm pretty sure that guy probably thought I had some kind of side dude or something like that. And that's why he kept trying to tell me what to do, because he was afraid I had something else going. I don't know. But this is like a controlling behavior type of thing, okay? Let's say like you're going to school, and the insecure bozo that hates himself, he's worried, okay? And I'm not trying to put him down and say bozo, but I'm just calling him a bozo because he's crazy, he's insecure, he's dealing with all this internal dialogue because it's driving him crazy, and he probably does have some kind of substance thing that's triggering some latent mental illness or something like that, some depression, some kind of deluded thinkings, something going on. But at the core of it, it's just because he's insecure. All right, like so many men are. All right, so say like you go to school. All right, you come out of school. He sees you talking. You happen to be talking to some guy that's in your class. You're like, guy's talking. He just sees a guy talking, and he hears, which is a male voice. You're like, blah, 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 blah. That's your voice. And you come out. You're like, oh, hi, and you see your boyfriend. You're like, you're just in a really good mood and everything because you had a good day, right? The only thing you did wrong was smile and look happy. Oh, no. Okay? So you have your books, and you're just like all glad to see your boyfriend, and you're just like, and he has this look on his face. He looks really mad, and you're like, oh no, what's wrong with him now? And he's like, and he's like, who's that? And you're like, oh, that's just Chad from class. And he's like, oh no, his name's Chad. And all of a sudden, that's all it takes. The guy's name is Chad, right? That's all it took was the guy's name happened to be Chad. And your ex-boyfriend's name happened to be Chad, right? Why do these two guys' names happen to be Chad, and that name happens to be Chad, right? So he's like, your ex-boyfriend Chad? And you're like, no, it's a different Chad, okay? It's a really common name. And he's like, why do all these guys' names have to be Chad? Why? And so all of a sudden, I don't think that's true. I think it's the same guy, even though it's like a totally common name, right? And why do their names always have to be Chad? I think it's really the same guy. So all of a sudden he starts getting paranoid and thinking that, and you're like, what were you talking about? And you're like, oh, well, we were studying blah, blah, blah. And we were talking about something in the book. And then he's thinking, I wonder if they had to share a book and sit next to each other. They were looking in the same book. They were sitting next to each other and looking in the same book. And he's thinking about you guys sitting right next to each other, looking in the same book. And he can't get that image out of his mind, and it's turning over in his mind over and over. And it's Chad, and it's the same guy. And all of a sudden, he has this idea in his mind, and he's convincing himself that it's that guy, and you guys were looking in the same book the whole time during class. And your faces were this close together, and that's the same Chad that's your ex, okay? Because your ex's name happens to be Chad, and your ex Chad was like sophomore year in high school, okay? And now you're like in adult school and college, and you're like like 18 or 19, and sophomore year you were 15, but for some reason he thinks it's the same guy. And you're still into him or something. You haven't seen old Chad for a really, really long time. And he's not like realizing that your ex Chad is a total nerd. Like he's thinking that he's like, the fact that his name is Chad, that he must be like totally fine and everything. But your ex Chad is like seriously dorky, and you weren't really into him. You know what I mean? And but he's thinking that Chad must have been like a real Chad. You know what I mean? So he's thinking all this stuff and assuming all this stuff, and it happens to the same guy, and he's assuming that you like Chad from your class. But Chad from your class is just some cool dude that you talk to. That was just like, see you later. And you're like, bye, because you're friendly. So he's coming up with all the scenario in his mind. So he has you this close, talking to Chad. He thinks it's the same guy. You're looking in the book, and you're having all this closeness, and he's making this whole thing up in his mind. And then he's thinking about the time that you weren't answering your phone. But you know what was happening when you weren't answering your phone? The final exam. And the teacher said everybody needs to turn their phone off. So he's like, why weren't you answering your phone? You said, it was the final exam. The teacher makes you turn the phone off or else you have to leave the class. So he's thinking, no, she was really skipping class with Chad. I wonder what they were doing. I bet they went to Chad's house. I bet they were in his room. So he's got you in bed with Chad, naked. So now he's thinking you're messing around with Chad, that you really actually just left class and you weren't taking the exam, and that's why you weren't getting the phone. So now he's thinking you're messing around with Chad. So he's putting that together, and this is going on in his mind, like in 15 minutes. He's coming up with this in like less than 15 minutes. Okay, I mean, in his mind, he's putting all this together, and Chad's just some dude in your class, and he's just pulling this out of thin air. And Chad from your class Chad from your class might be gay, and you don't even like necessarily think Chad from your class is cute or anything, and Chad from your class doesn't necessarily like think you're cute. Chad from your class is just a guy who was just like said goodbye to you or whatever. And your insecure boyfriend who hates himself is just making all this stuff up in his mind. So by the time you guys get to the bus, he's come up with this whole scenario, and by the time you guys get dropped off at your next stop, he's accusing you of cheating on him. And you're just like, why are you so crazy? And you're angry, and you're taking it personal, and you should, okay? You're taking it personal, like, why are you accusing me of cheating on you when all I'm trying to do is go to school? Like, why don't you go to school? Why don't you do something with your mind instead of come up with weird stuff with your insecure self? You're wondering, why is he so insecure and making stuff up? And you're getting mad at him because he's making stuff up. And then now he's trying to tell you to drop out of school because he's paranoid. And now he hangs around your school all the time because he thinks something's going on with you and Chad. And he's waiting and he's watching to see if you skip school with Chad. You and Chad don't like each other. But this guy is like so insecure and thinking something's going on because he's just made up a complete scenario in his mind. And a lot of it just has to do with the fact that the guy's name is Chad. Weirdo. And your boyfriend's a bozo, and he's just one of those typical modern day guys who hates himself. But he's also, he's just somebody who should not be doing recreational drugs or any drugs. And he's just a guy who hates himself and who cannot help but be paranoid. And he really also needs to get a life. And he also needs to get some help. Okay, and then there'll be some other scenario. Like, who's that you just said hi to? What do you mean? I think you were looking at somebody. What are you talking about? And every time you go somewhere and you accidentally look and accidentally smile at somebody, who are you smiling at? He's afraid every time you look at somebody. And so it's like it's almost like you can't even look anywhere or do anything without him worrying. And he's trying to control you. Why? Because he hates himself. And he knows you can do so much better than him because he hates himself, and he thinks he's ugly. Okay, because he looks in the mirror and he sees, a guy with messed up skin who is not in the best of physical condition. He knows you can do better. He knows that you're building your mind. He knows you're building your future. He takes you home. Your parents look at him like, I hope she wises up pretty soon. That kind of thing, and he knows, he's just a sorry piece of crap, and he doesn't like himself. So many men, low-key, will not come out and admit that they hate themselves. That's why he thinks you're cheating on him. And you're not doing anything to make him think that. You're not. Except going to school, having a classmate named Chad, and being a pretty girl, and just being a girl. You don't necessarily have to be a pretty girl, you just have to be a girl. And he just has to be a guy that hates himself. I mean, if you're a really pretty girl, that's just going to make it all kinds worse. And he's going to try to control you, control what you wear, control who you look at. Who are you looking at? He's going to try to get you to stop doing this, stop doing that. He's going to go everywhere and stalk you and watch every little thing that you do. And, try to put a GPS on your phone. And just, he's going to try to, if he's a bozo, he's going to try to walk you everywhere. Just to kind of try to keep tabs on everything you do because he thinks you're cheating on him. And you know what? You're probably just kind of like, if you're anything like me, you're really not interested in cheating on anyone because you have better things to do with your time, right? You're probably trying to better yourself, right? You're not really, I'm just going to come out and say this. You're not interested in a bunch of extra dicks and stuff like that, right? You're probably trying to get your money. You're probably trying to get your knowledge. You're probably trying to better yourself, and you're sick of bozos trying to walk you everywhere. You're probably just trying to get from point A to point B, and I'm just trying to better yourself, right? And you're just like, why is this bozo trying to walk me everywhere? I just want this guy to go away. And this bozo's trying to be your boyfriend, and he's paranoid, and you're just tired of people like that in your life. Get rid of him as soon as someone's hovering around you and try to lay a claim on you. Because I'm going to tell you right now, pretty often, men hate themselves. There are a lot of guys with good self-esteem, but a lot of guys really do hate themselves. And they are going to make your life miserable. I mean, you will try to love them through it, but guys who hate themselves will make your life miserable. They'll cheat on you. Guys who hate themselves cheat on you. They'll accuse you of cheating, but they will cheat on you. They will, and they're crazy. Guys who hate themselves have drug addictions. Guys who hate themselves can't hold jobs down. They hate themselves too much. They won't take care of themselves. They won't eat right. They won't exercise. They won't read a book. Okay, they won't listen to stronger men who will teach them things. They won't listen to you. You will try to tell them something that will help them. They don't want to hear it. So why are you even there? And they sure can't do anything for you. Trust me, except walk you everywhere. And you're their protection from their drug dealer, trust me. Their drug dealer won't come around because you're there. Because they know that you will call the police. They don't know if you are the police. Or if your daddy's the police. You're actually their protection from the drug dealer, so they probably owe the drug dealer money. But, and I'm pretty sure I've said that in other episodes, but, yeah. So many guys hate themselves, and they're paranoid, and they're putting two and two together in their mind, and they're just coming up with all kinds of things that aren't even true. So, watch out for these guys, and it's not just bozos who hate themselves. It's just a lot of men in general just hate themselves. Low-key hate themselves. They're not just guys who follow red pill. They're just everyday guys who just hate themselves. It's sad. And I can't entirely make fun of them, because it's not just the bozos. It's just guys. It's just guys who are depressed. They need help. You don't need to help them. They just need help. It's not your job to fix them. But guys are just low-key depressed and hate themselves. You can't really do anything about them. They need to get it together, but men really, people are not realizing how much men don't like themselves. But it's really a problem. And they need to do something about it, but you can't do anything about it. They need to help themselves. Okay, they need to seek God. They need to seek role models. They need to take care of themselves. Okay, they need to do something, but they need to quit punishing you for it. Okay, otherworldlies, I love you all, and everybody have a wonderful evening. Good night.